الحمد لله رب العالمين أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على محمد وعلى أزواجه وذريته كما صليت على آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى أزواجه وذريته كما باركت على آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. أما بعد, inshallah, today the 24th of October 2015, matching the 10th of Al-Muharram 1437, and our time now we are going to spend it with the book جامع العلوم والحكم by Imam Al-Hafidh Ibn Rajab alayhi rahmatullah. This is a collection of 50 hadith containing the 42 hadith that Imam Al-Nawawi collected, and Ibn Rajab alayhi rahmatullah, he added 8 more ahadith, so they became 50 hadith. And those hadith are collective ahadith, meaning that they gather a lot of information about the Islamic religion. They say about them that the whole religion revolves around these ahadith of the Messenger alayhi as-salat was-salam. The Imam Al-Hafidh Ibn Rajab, he titled his book جامع العلوم والحكم, the gatherer, the collector of information, pieces of information, knowledge, branches of knowledge, and wisdom, wise words. A collective, this book is a collection of knowledge and wisdom, wise words from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it is explaining 50 ahadith of the most collective words, Jawami' الكلم, from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The hadith of today is a very famous and well-known hadith, narrated by a very well-known and famous scholar amongst the companions radiallahu anhum, and that is Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu wa ardahu fil Jannah, who said, قال حدثنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وهو الصادق المصدوق. Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم told us, he spoke to us saying, then he put a description here, and he is the Sadiq, the one who says the truth, he is the truthful, and he is also Al-Masduq, the one who is told the truth, alayhi salatu wassalam. So he says he himself, alayhi salatu wassalam, is truthful, and what he received of the revelation is also true. He is Sadiq and he is Masduq. He tells the truth and he also is told the truth, was told the truth through the revelation. He said, إن أحدكم يجمع خلقه في بطن أمه 40 يوما نطفة. Surely one of you, his creation is gathered together in the belly of his mother 40 days as nutfa, as a sperm. ثم يكون علقة مثل ذلك. Then it becomes a blood clot, the likeness of that. ثم يكون مضغة مثل ذلك. Then he will be something resembling a chewed piece of meat. Mudgha, a bite. Then he will be like a bite, a chewed piece of flesh, the likeness of that. ثم يرسل الله إليه الملك. Then Allah sends to him the angel. فينفخ فيه الروح. So he blows into him the spirit, the soul. ويؤمر بأربع كلمات. And he is commanded with 4 words. The angel is commanded with 4 words. بكتب رزقه وعمله وأجله. He is commanded to write down his sustenance, his provision, his action, and his time span. his lifespan. And وَشَقِيٌّ أَوْ سَعِيدٌ, whether he is sad or happy, whether he is miserable, he's going to be from the miserable one, meaning entering the fire, or the happy ones entering paradise. فَوَالَّذِي لَا إِلَهَ غَيْرُهُ, by the one whom there is no true God except He. There is no true God other than Him. Subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's making an oath. إِنَّ أَحَدَكُمْ, surely the one of you, لَيَعْمَلُ بِعَمَلِ أَهْلِ الْجَنَّةِ حَتَّى مَا يَكُونَ بَيْنَهُ وَبَيْنَهَا إِلَّا ذِرَاعٌ. The one of you will act upon the deeds, he will do the deeds of the people of paradise up until there is nothing left between him and it except an arm span. Except an arm span. فَيَسْبِقُ عَلَيْهِ الْكِتَابِ فَيَعْمَلُ بِعَمَلِ أَهْلِ النَّارِ فَيَدْخُلَهَا. So that book of record beats him, precedes him, and he will act upon the deeds of the people of the fire, so he will enter it. وَإِنَّ أَحَدَكُمْ لَيَعْمَلُ بِعَمَلِ أَهْلِ النَّارِ, surely the one of you, he will do the deeds, or he does the deeds of the people of the fire. حَتَّى مَا يَكُونَ بَيْنَهُ وَبَيْنَهَا إِلَّا ذِرَاعٌ, up until there is nothing left between him and it except an arm's span. فَيَسْبِقُ عَلَيْهِ الْكِتَابِ, then the book of record, what was written, that is, beats him, precedes, outraces. So he will do the deeds of the people of paradise, so he enters it. Rawahu al-Bukhari wa Muslim. The wording is a little bit, Al-Imam al-Nawawi, he mentioned it, it seems from memory, or he depended on some versions that are not available to us now. The word nutfa is not in Bukhari and is not in Muslim and is not in any of the 6 books. Nutfa meaning a sperm, either talking about the sperm of the husband or the sperm of the wife or the mixed sperm of both. All of that is called nutfa. The explanation of the hadith. I remind you that we are doing the book that is the summary of the explanation of this hadith, as the book of Al-Imam ibn Rajab is extensive, is a big book. So we are doing only the explanation of the hadith by Al-Imam ibn Rajab, but then it is abridged and it's made short, summarized. إن أحدكم يجمع خلقه في بطن أمه 40 يوما نطفة. Surely one of you, his creation, or what he is created from, is gathered together, is put together. What he is created from is put together in the belly of his mother 40 days. Then it says here nutfa, as a sperm, right? So here we have stages for the baby when it is in the womb of the mother, and on and on. Now he mentions a statement from Ibn Mas'ud that he said, إن النطفة إذا وقعت في الرحم, that the sperm, if it falls in the womb, then طارت في كل شعر وظفر, it will enter every hair and nail. فتمكث 40 يوما, it stays for 40 days. ثم تنحدر في الرحم, then it goes down to the womb. فتكون علقة, then it will become a blood clot. قال Abdullah bin Mas'ud said, فذلك جمعها, that is it being gathered together, it being put together, right? And now it is known through the science that it goes into the fallopian tube for some time, then it will fall. Truly, it will go down to the uterus and it will cling to its side, right? That's exactly what happens. He says مراحل تكوين الجنين, the stages of the embryo being made, going through. He said وقوله ثم يكون علقة مثل ذلك. He said then he will be a alaqa, a blood clot, the likeness of that, meaning 40 days, والعلقة قطعة من دم. العلقة, this word alaqa means a piece of blood, like we say a blood clot, right? alaqa, a blood clot. ثم يكون مضغة مثل ذلك, then it will be like a chewed lump of meat, like a bite, the likeness of that, meaning 40 days. والمضغة قطعة من لحم. المضغة is قطعة, a piece, من لحم, of flesh, right? So that's the mudghah, the word mudghah. It is a bite, like a bite, right? ثم يرسل الله إليه الملك, then Allah sends to him the angel, فينفخ فيه الروح, he blows into him, breathes into him the spirit, and يؤمر بأربع كلمات, he is commanded with 4 words, بكتب رزقه وعمله وأجله وشقي أو سعيد. By writing, he is commanded to write, with writing his provision meaning of physical food, money and this and that, or even the non-physical, his knowledge and understanding and the likes of that. Writing his provision, his actions, his time span, his life that he is going to live, how long he is going to live, وَشَقِيٌّ أَوْ سَعِيدٌ, whether he is happy, whether he is miserable or happy. He says هذا الحديث, this hadith, يدل على أنه يتقلب في 120 يوما. This hadith proves that the embryo, it turns inside within 120 days. We have 40 and 40 and 40. So there will be coming a comment on that, but we will go through what Imam Ibn Rajab says. 40 days as a sperm or a mix of sperm, 40 days as a blood clot, and 40 days as a bite, right? So 40 plus 40 plus 40, 120 days. So the fetus or the baby or the embryo goes through this for 120 days in 3 stages. في كل 40 منها يكون في طور. In every 40 days he will be in a stage. فيكون في 40 الأولى نطفة. So he will be in the first 40 as a mixed sperm. Then ثم في 40 الثانية علقة. Then in the 40, second 40, he will be a blood clot. ثم في 40 الثالثة مضغة. Then in the third 40 days he will be like a chewed piece of meat. ثم بعد 120 يوما ينفخ الملك فيه الروح. Then after the 120 days, the angel blows into him the spirit. ويكتب له هذه الأربع كلمات. And he writes down for him those 4 words. وقد ذكر الله في القرآن في مواضع كثيرة تقلب الجنين في هذه الأطوار. Allah mentioned in the Quran in many places the turning of the embryo in these stages. كقوله تعالى, like his statement سبحانه وتعالى, يا أيها الناس, O people, إن كنتم في ريب من البعث, if you are in doubt regarding resurrection, فإنا خلقناكم من تراب, then we have created you from dust. ثم من نطفة, then from a sperm. ثم من علقة, then from a blood cloth. Then من مضغة, ثم من مضغة, then from a bite of meat. مخلقة وغير مخلقة, created and uncreated, imaged, given image or not given, right? لنبين لكم, or given shape or not giving shape. لنبين لكم, so that we will clarify to you. ونقر في الأرحام ما نشاء إلى أجل مسمى, Surah Al-Hajj, Ayah 5. And we give residence in the wombs however we wish, whatever we wish, up until an appointed term. So this is the ayah from Surah Al-Hajj. And ذكر هذه الأطوار الثلاثة. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned these three stages: النطفة والعلقة والمضغة, the sperm, the blood cloth, and the bite. He mentioned them في مواضع متعددة من القرآن, in numerous places in the Quran or of the Quran. وفي موضع آخر ذكر زيادة عليها. And in another place Allah mentioned more than that, more than these three. في سورة المؤمنون, in the chapter titled المؤمنون, ولقد خلقنا الإنسان من سلالة من طين. We surely have created the human from an extract, from clay. ثم جعلناه نطفة في قرار مكين. Then we made him a sperm in a residence that is safe and secure. ثم خلقنا النطفة علقة. Then we created the sperm into a blood clot. فخلقنا العلقة مضغة. Then we created the blood clot into a chewed, a piece of meat looking like chewed up, a bite of meat. فخلقنا المضغة عظاما. Then we created the bite into bones. فكسونا العظام لحما. Then we covered, we clothed the bones with meat, لحم, flesh. ثم أنشأناه خلقا آخر. Then we put him, we created him, we developed him into another creation. In the end it's a human. فَتَبَارَكَ اللَّهُ أَحْسَنُ الْخَالِقِينَ. All blessings, blessed is Allah, glorified is Allah, the best of creators. Here Al-Hafidh ibn Rajab, he says, فَهَذِهِ سَبْعُ تَارَاتٍ ذكرها الله في هذه الآية لخلق ابن آدم قبل نفخ الروح فيه. These are 7 different stages now. We have 3 from the Hadith. This ayah has 7 different cases, 7 different situations that the human goes through. 7 situations Allah mentioned for the creation of the son of Adam. قبل نفخ الروح فيه, before the soul, before the spirit is blowed into him, into it. فأما نفخ الروح, as for the blowing of the spirit, جزاك الله خيرا, فقد روي صريحا عن الصحابة. Then it is mentioned explicitly, it's narrated explicitly from the companions, أنه إنما ينفخ فيه الروح بعد 4 أشهر. That the soul, the spirit, is only blown into him after 4 months. كما دل عليه ظاهر حديث ابن مسعود, as the apparent meaning of the hadith of Ibn Mas'ud indicates. This one here that we have. وبنى الإمام أحمد مذهبه المشهور عنه على ظاهر حديث ابن مسعود. Imam Ahmad based his position that is famous and well known from him, he based it upon the apparent meaning of this hadith of Ibn Mas'ud, وأن الطفل ينفخ فيه الروح بعد 4 أشهر. That the child, the baby, the soul, the spirit is blown into him only after the 4 months. وأنه إذا سقط بعد تمام 4 أشهر صلي عليه. And that if the baby is miscarried after the completion of 4 months, then prayer is done for him. That is the funeral prayer there is. حيث كان قد نفخ فيه الروح ثم مات. Since the soul was blown into him, then he passed away. So if there is a miscarriage after 4 months, then they pray the janazah for the baby. وأما كتابة الملك فحديث ابن مسعود يدل على أنها تكون بعد 4 أشهر أيضا على ما سبق. As for the angel writing down, then the hadith of Ibn Mas'ud, it proves that it also happens after the 4 months also, according to what has preceded. Right? After the 4 months, 120 days, then the angel is going to write down. وعن أنس عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: وكل الله بالرحم ملكا يقول, that Allah put an angel in charge of the womb, saying, يقول: أي ربي نطفة، أي ربي علقة، أي ربي مضغة. O Lord, a sperm. O Lord, a blood clot. O Lord, a bite. فإذا أراد الله أن يقضي خلقا, so if Allah wished to decree a creation, قال يا ربي أذكر أم أنثى, he says, the angel, O Lord, a male or a female, أشقي أم سعيد, a miserable or happy. فما الرزق, what is the provision? فما الأجل, what is the lifespan? فيكتب كذلك في بطن أمه, so he will be written as such in the belly of his mother. وظاهر هذا يوافق حديث ابن مسعود لكن ليس فيه تقدير مدة. The apparent meaning of this hadith of Anas, which is in Bukhari and Muslim, it agrees, it matches the hadith of Ibn Mas'ud, but it doesn't mention in it an estimated time. It doesn't mention the time when it happens. وهذه الكتابة التي تكتب للجنين في بطن أمه غير كتابة المقادير السابقة لخلق الخلائق المذكورة في قوله تعالى. And this writing that is written for the embryo in the womb of his mother is other than the writing of the destiny that has preceded the creation, or that has preceded creating the creation by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is mentioned in the statement of Allah ta'ala: ما أصاب من مصيبة في الأرض ولا في أنفسكم إلا في كتاب من قبل أن نبرأها. Surah Al-Hadid, ayah 22. There is no calamity that befalls you on earth nor within yourselves, except that it is in a book before we bring it to being, before we create it. So this writing that is happening while the baby is within the belly of the mom, this is other than the writing that has preceded long time before the creation of the creation. This is yet another writing. وقد تكاثرت النصوص بذكر الكتاب السابق بالسعادة والشقاوة. The texts have been numerous, they are abundant, with mentioning the previous writing, the previous book. بالسعادة والشقاوة, the previous book with happiness or sadness. فعن علي ابن أبي طالب رضي الله عنه قال أنه قال عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, from the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, that he said عليه الصلاة والسلام: ما من نفس منفوسة إلا وقد كتب الله مكانها من الجنة والنار وإلا قد كتبت شقية أو سعيدة. There is no soul that is given life except that Allah has written its place of paradise or the fire, and except that it is written miserable or happy. فقال رجل يا رسول الله أفلا نمكث على كتابنا وندع العمل. A man said then, O Messenger of Allah, should we not just remain upon our book and we leave doing deeds, we leave acting? Since it's already done with, should we just leave what we're doing and we just depend on the book, that is? فقال عليه الصلاة والسلام اعملوا فكل ميسر لما خلق له. He said, do deeds, perform, for everyone is facilitated to what he has been created for. أما أهل السعادة فييسرون لعمل أهل السعادة. As for the people of happiness, then they are facilitated, يعني made easy for them, the actions of the people of happiness. وأما أهل الشقاوة فييسرون لعمل أهل الشقاوة. Then the people of sadness, they will be facilitated to the actions of people of sadness. ثم قرأ فأما من أعطى واتقى. Then he recited the verse from the Quran, from Surah Al-Layl, and this hadith that we mentioned is in Muslim, Sahih Muslim 2653. He recited عليه الصلاة والسلام the ayah from Surah Al-Layl, فأما من أعطى واتقى. As for the one who gave and was pious, وصدق بالحسنى, he believed in Al-Husna, paradise, then فسنيسره لليسرى, we'll make an easy way for him to that which is easy, the place of easiness, which is paradise again. And the opposite for the one who chooses the other way. Meaning, once again, and we mentioned this fact many times, the book of Ibn al-Qayyim and otherwise, that Allah destines things to happen with their causes leading to them. It's not just destined and without cause. Cause leads to effect. So the people who enter the paradise, they do the deeds of the people of paradise. People who enter the fire, they do the deeds of the people of the fire. Then they deserve it. Right? So, and all of this is pre-written. All of this is pre-recorded. He says, ففي هذا الحديث, in this hadith of Ali رضي الله عنه, أن السعادة والشقاوة قد سبق الكتاب بهما. That happiness and misery, the book has preceded with them. Preceded meaning it was written in them already, pre-recorded in them already. وأن ذلك مقدر بحسب الأعمال. And that is destined according to the actions. وأن كلا ميسر لما خلق له من الأعمال التي هي سبب للسعادة أو الشقاوة. And that every person is facilitated to that which he was created for, of the deeds, which are those deeds which are causes, those deeds which are the cause leading to happiness or misery. I will inshallah stop here بإذن as there is something that I have to finish before, or a comment that I have to make before we go on. Inshallah we leave the second portion of the hadith, which is many of us would view to be very scary, and that is someone doing the deeds of the people of paradise and ending up that oath that was made in the hadith, until nothing left is an arm's span, and then one changes his deeds, and the opposite too. That we leave it for the next time. But for now, inshallah, I just wanted to make a comment on these stages that are mentioned here. And that is, as I mentioned, that the hadith in the Sahihain and also the 6 books doesn't have the word nutfa in there. And there is another hadith in the Sahih of Imam Muslim, also from Ibn Mas'ud, and it says that he stays في ذلك مثل ذلك. He stays in that, the likeness of that. In that here should be understood as referring to the 40 days. The conclusion of that is that the stage of the sperm, the stage of the blood clot, the stage of the bite, all these 3, they happen within the first 40 days. Not 40 days nutfa, sperm, then another 40 blood clot, then another 40 as a bite, right? That's 120. According to that other hadith, if we understand it that way, then all 3 stages are within the first 40, or actually, as in the hadith, 42 days. 42 days. Which actually, that one is in Muslim, and it actually agrees with the modern science too. Right? The scientists, the biologists and those, they were like stunned with these exact descriptions of sperm, blood clot, and bite, or something looking like a chewed bite of meat or chewed piece of meat. They were stunned with these descriptions that are found in the Quran and in the Hadith, right? But there is no way to know that except through revelation. That time science was not as advanced as today, and they found this to be exactly like this. However, the issue of the 120 days, that's one way, and the majority of the scholars understood it as such, and that is that you have 40 and 40 and 40, but then Allah knows best the other explanation, which is held by some scholars, the minority, but then still that is the correct position, and it is supported by the hadith, that all of this happens, those 3 stages happen within the first 42 days, which is the first 6 weeks of the pregnancy, right? The first 6 weeks of the pregnancy. And Al-Imam Al-Hafidh ibn Rajab, he mentioned this hadith in the original, and we usually choose the summarized versions of the books, but because of that we miss a lot of information, right? That's why I chose with Al-Wabil Al-Sayyib and with Al-Jawab Al-Kafi that we do the original and we don't miss any of it, because there's so many beautiful things in there. But this book of Al-Hafidh ibn Rajab is like extensive. If we're going to do that, each hadith will take us, many sessions, right? So that's why I chose the summary. But then Al-Hafidh ibn Rajab, he mentioned in his book, and Al-Hafidh ibn Rajab is like an 8th century scholar, right? Between the 8th and the 9th. So he mentioned there that there are some scholars who said it's okay to abort the baby as long as it is before 4 months, yani 120 days, as after 120 days then the soul will be put in the baby. He becomes a full human. You cannot do that. Some people said before the 4 months you can do it. He says that is not right. That is a weak position. And then he mentions the hadith that the angel is sent when it is 42 days, and it talks about the creation of its skin and the likes of that, right? So he said that's a weak position. Already within the first 42 days, then the baby is being created already, has gone through the development of stages of creation, right? So that is mentioned there. Anyhow, there is there can never be a contradiction, a conflict between an information that comes from the revelation, Quran or authentic Sunnah, and modern science. That is, established facts, not theories. Theories, they are developed over time, right? Theories remain to be theories, but there can never be a conflict or contradiction between true modern science or science that is facts with the revelation, Quran or authentic Hadith. That is because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who created this universe, He is the one who sent down the Quran and sent the revelation of the Sunnah to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So if there is some conflict that seems to be in our eyes as conflicts, then either the science is not really a fact, right? Like part of the Darwin's theory, parts of it may be true, but parts of it are untrue. So they say as a joke, someone, a child, a kid asked the teacher, "Is it true that our origins is monkeys?" So the teacher answered, "We have no business in your personal family affairs." Right? So there are pieces that they are maybe true, but then there are other pieces that are completely untrue, and they bring them as scientific facts, and they try to say religion conflicts or contradicts science, which is totally untrue. So that's one case. The science is not really correct science, or not a fact, just a theory. The other side is someone's understanding of the Quran and the Sunnah is not correct. And I think I made a promise before, which I still want to, inshallah, fulfill. And that is, I think I mentioned to some of you, a small treatise, an article written by the late great scholar Muhammad ibn Salih ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah. It says, the title of it, Risala an al-Wusul ila al-Qamar, or something like that. Treatise about going to the moon, landing over the moon. And this is long time ago, when it actually happened. That's when he wrote that. Because then some said, no one can reach the moon. And this goes against the texts from the Quran. How can they reach there? And the others, they said, no, there is nothing in the Quran that says this cannot happen. So he wrote something to explain this issue. That's why I wanted to bring it, not because the issue of the moon, but how to deal with scientific information when they come to us, along with the religious information that we have, the Quran and the Hadith, right? The authentic Hadith, right? So those, they can never contradict one another. They cannot conflict with one another, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator of the universe. He is the one who sent down this revelation. So this is the case here with this hadith. We find that the way it's understood might lead to the issue of 120 days, but then there is this other authentic hadith which mentions the creation within the first 42, right? Which we need to understand this hadith in light of the other one, and this way there will be no conflict whatsoever, right? So this is the case, inshallah. So I will just stop here. The talk or the lecture is finished. Those of you who would like to leave, they are more than welcome to leave. Those who want to stay and ask a question or two, I am here, inshallah. But for now, the lecture is ended, inshallah. جزاكم الله خيرا. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت